Welcome to part 4 in our attempt to save old Digby here. You know, in the last part we talked about the problem with EGR and coking or carbon buildup in the intake manifold. Now you saw some of the stuff that was in there, but it wasn't bad enough. I've seen it really bad. It really will affect combustion, but once again, we're going to try to isolate the problem here. I know some of you are saying, well, Kent, why don't you just pull the engine out and overhaul it? Well, that kind of negates some of the educational value of what we're trying to do here. Because I know some of you working on your Mercedes, you're going to have some of these problems. You want to do some troubleshooting before you just pull the engine out and overhaul it. You'll have people say, oh, you need to overhaul your engine, and it might only be a bad injector. Well, we're not so sure about Digby here, and I've told Joel we've got to now attack the pre-chamber, the fuel injection pre-chamber. So rather than try to show it here on the engine, we're going to go over to the bench, and I'm going to explain to Joel what the pre-chamber does. Well, Joel, today we get to have pre-chamber 101. Pre-chamber 101. This is a Mercedes diesel pre-chamber. And if you look, there's a number of different holes. You have this big hole up at the top, and that's the hole that the fuel injector goes into. Now, reach over there and give me that black fuel injector right there. All right, so here you can see how the fuel injector goes into that hole, okay? Sure. Then on the side, you have another hole. That's the hole that the glow plug goes into. The tip of the glow plug goes right into the pre-chamber, and that's what heats the pre-chamber, so when the fuel goes in there when the engine's cold, it's going to help ignite it. Mm-hmm. Okay? Then on the bottom of the pre-chamber, and this is what's really interesting, is you have all these little holes. And if you look closely, some of the holes are smaller than the others. There are actually 3 different sizes of holes, and you have this little teeny one right on the bottom. Now for different engines, there's different pre-chambers, but this is the OM617 turbo diesel or 5-cylinder turbo diesel engine like in Digby. So what can go wrong with one of these? Before I talk about that, I want to explain what happens when the fuel goes into one of these. Because a lot of people say, well, why don't they just shoot fuel right into the cylinder? Yeah. Well, do you want to guess why they don't just shoot fuel down in the cylinder?
Probably waste.
Well, that might be true. The main reason is they're trying to slow down the combustion so the diesel engine doesn't make so much noise. And if you inject the diesel right into the cylinder, you're going to get this clang, clang, bang, you know. So what the pre-chamber does is it softens the combustion. The injector starts spraying as the piston is coming up on compression. Okay? It comes in here, and right at the bottom, there's a ball. There's a ball. I don't even know if we can see it in the video, but right down in here is a little ball. You say, what's there a ball doing down? You have any idea what that ball is for? Come on, give me a guess.
Dispersing the fuel.
Hey, you're right on. See, if it just sprays directly in there, particularly if the injector's not really firing properly, the fuel hits that ball and spreads out and helps the burn cycle. It atomizes the fuel better. And as the burn starts the pre-chamber, it comes out these little small holes and goes into the actual cylinder chamber and completes the whole burn cycle. So there's a lot going on. Imagine going down the road at 60 miles an hour, and this thing is just revving up like crazy. Imagine how many operations are going on in this pre-chamber. The fuel's firing, hitting the ball, spraying out, burning, and going out these small holes. So from that, now you've heard me say this over and over again, Joel, you got to understand theory. If you understand the theory, you can help in troubleshooting. I'm going to give you a test right now. Okay? You ready for a little test?
Sure.
I won't ask you to repeat what I just said, but I'm going to ask you to do a little critical thinking. From what I just told you, what could go wrong with this pre-chamber? Just give it your best shot.
It could clog up.
Yep, okay, that's definitely
to the point where it would prevent the fuel distribution from happening.
All this carbon buildup.
And that ball piece, I'm not sure, but that could break.
And
maybe.
What would happen if that ball breaks off?
Well, it would, I mean, would it cause a lot of rattle? It would probably cause a rattle, but...
Well, it would, yeah, it would. It would cause a rattle until it disintegrates, because I know this has happened.
But it would clog up really, really, really badly, and then all that soot buildup type stuff that you get in an engine from the exhaust and everything, I'm assuming would just be not a great system.
So yeah, I think that's really good. One other thing is look at the bottom. Look at those holes. What could go wrong with these holes?
They could clog as well.
Yeah.
Then
you got a problem.
They could also get dinged.
That's right.
If you're not careful with the head.
If you have the head off, you got to be careful. But you get foreign object damage in the combustion chamber. But what I found is if the cylinder overheats, these can burn and deform. So believe it or not, if all these holes aren't nice and smooth and round like this, and you have holes that have either enlarged or that have been plugged up by carbon, then the engine's not going to run right, particularly at idle. See, because once the engine drops down to idle, it's just struggling to get fuel. And we know from Digby, you know, we've got the compression almost up to 300 now from doing the Italian tune-up. So it should be firing at idle, but it's not. And when it does fire, it's got so much raw fuel in there that's coming out in all that smoke. That's raw fuel burning when we get on it. So this could be the problem. We don't know.
Yeah.
This could be the problem. It could also be the problem on why we had low compression. If it's got a problem with the fuel getting in there at the right time, it could either overheat the piston or overwash the cylinder wall. So we want to pull this out and take a look at it.
Okay.
Can you, you're going to get to do that. I don't know if you've pulled one of these out. Do you know what we have to use to get one of these out? What do we have to use?
That really fun slide hammer thing that we have.
Bang,
it's
bang,
be a
bang.
lot of banging.
That's right. So you have to get this collar nut off, because I think Joel has taken a couple of pre-chambers out for me.
Show the collar nut again.
And then you see we get the collar nut off. We need a special tool to get the collar nut off. And then we've got to get the slide hammer into the pre-chamber and hammer it out. You'll get to see that later in this video. Let's get over there and let's get the pre-chamber out on number 3 cylinder.
First, let's remove our steel line. You'll want to plug the hole with a paper towel to prevent any fluid from leaking out. We use our hose clamp tool to remove the hoses from the injector. We take our socket and remove the injector. Next, we're going to remove the glow plug. Use our crescent wrench to loosen the nut. Keep a magnet nearby while you remove the nut so it doesn't fall down into the engine. Next, I have a specialty socket tool that we sell on our website. It has a swivel head on it. It allows getting to the angle of the glow plug easier. Takes a bit of work, but you'll finally get this to come out.
Well, that was fun getting that out of there, right? But hey, Joel, come over here and take a look at this. Look at the tip of that glow plug. It's burnt. It's badly burned. I'm just going to throw a meter on it to see if this is even working properly. No, that glow plug isn't even operating. So we definitely have a bad glow plug. That is probably the worst burnt glow plug I've ever seen. So that's suspicious. Okay, let's get the tools out and get that pre-chamber out.
Okay, we're going to take our pre-chamber collar nut removal tool, and we're going to screw it down into the pre-chamber. Now this has kind of a dual bolt system that you kind of tighten while the other one loosens, and then you'll need to take off the socket and re-tighten down the bolt as you work on loosening up the collar nut that holds in the pre-chamber. So work it back and forth, re-tighten down my nut, and finally now I can start ratcheting out the collar nut. Make sure that you retighten the nut occasionally to make sure that it's still spinning when turning the socket. Unscrew everything. And pull out the collar nut. Next we'll use our slide hammer tool to pull out the pre-chamber.
Should I tighten it up here to make sure I got it all the way? Or is hand tight good enough?
That's good enough, yeah.
Show it down here coming up. Wow, Dad, look at the top of that.
Oh,
My goodness.
my goodness! Oh, that's called, oh my goodness, Joel.